Alright, what is going on, everyone? First and foremost, I want to say thank you for being here right now, watching this video. I do really appreciate for your time, and I really appreciate if you do consider subscribing, because it truly does help me out a lot. Now, we got Conor McGregor, man. How the UFC single-handedly pretty much wasted Conor McGregor's prime, man. You know, we all know Conor McGregor is being held even though he's begging to fight, you know what I mean? Dana White's just holding him like the golden fish, you know what I mean? Because Conor McGregor can single-handedly easily sell out a pay-per-view, you know what I mean? So stacked card or not, they're saving him, and they're basically holding him like the golden fish of the UFC, which he is the golden fish of the UFC. But bro, if he wants to fight, you gotta let him fight. But I don't know, man. They're using him, and it is what it is. But without further ado, let's see what this video is talking about, man.
Conor McGregor will undoubtedly go down as an all-time great, the double champion, one of the best featherweights of all time, but in reality, his prime was way shorter than most fighters. Well, one way to put it is he really didn't have that much of a prime. Now, the athletic prime for an athlete is from the ages of 20 to 30 for most sports, but generally the consensus in MMA is that your athletic prime is really from 27 to 33. This is mainly because there's no such thing as an MMA-based fighter, at least until recently. Most of these fighters are coming over from wrestling, kickboxing, boxing, so when they get into MMA, they need a good amount of years to learn the other practices. Conor was 28 when he fought Eddie, which is absolutely demolished Eddie, and from there we all know what happens. He went on to fight Mayweather, and in between Mayweather and his next fight, we saw a lot of time off, a lot of controversy that also led to him needing to take time off. And then we get the announcement of him versus Khabib, which is him coming off over a year of not fighting in MMA. The Floyd fight was in 2017, he became double champ in 2016, so this is a lot of time without actually practicing MMA at a competitive level consistently. And of course, we get more bust controversies, and the big assumption that in between the Mayweather and Khabib fight is when he really started picking up his drug and alcohol addiction, especially with the launch of Proper 12. Yes, this is technically within the years of 27 to 33, but you really have to think. You have to get back into fight shape, you have to get back into training and back into that mindset. So even though you're within those years, can you really be at your best if you haven't been competing at a high level for at least a year of training? So when the Khabib fight happens, we all know the outbreak after, the suspension after, that led to him having to do community service. There was a lot of issues working against Conor that led to him not having many fights booked, but the reality is Dana has held him back a lot. Conor's next fight would be in 2020, and in this build-up in between 2018 and 2019, we saw Conor gunning for fights relentlessly. He threatened retirement, he wanted to fight Justin Gaethje, he wanted to go box again. There's a lot of things that Conor wanted to do, and Conor clearly wanted to fight, but Dana did not book him. Now, Dana is obligated to offer every fighter 3 fights.
That is very true, bro. Like, Dana's holding this guy back. And the thing is, bro, Dana wants to see his fighters fight, you know what I mean? He pushes them to fight, and he loves, we all know Dana White loves when champions are active, you know, especially champions who can sell a lot of pay-per-views and they're active. He loves that, you know what I mean? He values that very, very much, you know what I mean? Is a championship fighter who's very active and can constantly sell out pay-per-views. That's what he loves, bro. But you're constantly holding Conor McGregor back because he's literally the golden fish of the UFC, man. And bro, I don't know, man. Maybe because right, Conor McGregor has the possible chance of losing a fight. You know what I mean? He can't always win a fight, bro. So maybe that's why, you know, I don't know. I guess Dana White just really wants him to win at the end of the day. But fans want to see him win too. But I don't know, man. Let's keep going, though.
A year, except there's a lot of asterisks around that. Now, the rules around this are of course muddy, but based off what we know, especially from Nate Diaz and Francis Ngannou, even though you're offered 3 fights a year, he can offer you a pretty shitty fight that you're not going to want to take. For example, with Nate, he was offered a bunch of killers before he eventually landed on Hamzat and decided to just take the fight. Dana is putting them in a position where technically it is them saying no to a fight, even though it's a fight they might not want. And it doesn't even have to be the opponent. He can be offering them really bad money on a really bad date. He might not put them on a pay-per-view. So there's a lot of ways that you can still be offered fights, but them not be realistic options in any capacity, and that's definitely what was going on with Conor, and why we saw the retirement, why we saw Conor doing interviews where he was frustrated with the UFC. In McGregor Forever, that was a real highlight, and it really showed why Conor took so long to fight, and why when he came back, he kept on wanting to say he wanted a season. Because what I was saying about your prime and being in the fighter shape, in the fighter attitude, in the fighter mindset, you need to have consistent fights time and time again, because it's really hard to train at full capacity when you don't have anything to fight for. So the Cowboy fight happens in January, and he took no damage, so he was like, let me get my next fight pretty much immediately, and they were like, no, you need time off. And if you don't know, there's a lot of talks of rebooking Conor vs Khabib right there and then, Conor vs Nate 3, Conor vs Gaethje. These were all fights on the table, and Dana, for one reason or the other, didn't want to get them done. Now that could be because Khabib was backed up, that could be because I wanted to get Conor in there again. Nate really wasn't doing anything too significant at that time. He did fight Masvidal and just beat him. That was the other big fight, Conor vs Masvidal. Dana says Masvidal is too big, but
bro, Dana White is controlling Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor wants to fight. It's not like he doesn't want to fight. He wants to fight everybody, bro. You know what I mean? And get that belt again. But like Dana White is just holding him back, simply because I don't even know why, bro. But like, I don't know, man. It's a weird situation, but yeah, like I said, Conor McGregor's the golden fish of the UFC, so Dana White can't afford to lose him, you know what I mean? Or even afford to make him lose another fight, you know what I mean? Because if Conor McGregor loses another fight, man, I don't know what's going to happen, bro. He might end up like Tony Ferguson for all we know. And that is what Dana White is most likely afraid of, you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. Maybe Dana White is keeping Conor McGregor away from absolute killers, man, because we all know Justin Gaethje beating everyone except the champions of the current champions of the UFC, right? He's beating everyone, literally everyone, except the champion. He can beat everyone except get a hold of that belt. And I don't know, man, but let's keep going.
But these were all fights that were massive at the time that Conor wanted. And eventually he keeps on getting sideline on sideline, frustrated again, and then COVID happens. Now, Conor did retire, I think, like 2 or 3 times during COVID. But the reality is, that was another set of time where he wasn't able to train for a fight. Now, a lot of the details on Conor vs Dustin 2 have been lost a lot in translation. Conor was frustrated with the UFC, so he then decided he was going to have a charity match with Manny Pacquiao in boxing. And then that fight fell through, and then Dustin said, I will box you for charity. Of course, the UFC sees this and like, if you're gonna fight, you're gonna fight in the UFC. And Dustin was coming off a fight with Dan Hooker, and Dustin has always been an active fighter, and yeah, he had some layoff in between Hooker and the fight before. It wasn't like Dustin was dealing with the ring rust Conor was. If Conor is not at his fighting best and fighting and active against Dustin Poirier, he's gonna get punished. And although at the time a lot of casual fans didn't realize how good Dustin was, we all know what happens. And with Conor getting knocked out, though, one time they should probably wait over a year or so to book him again. They book him again in July. So Conor takes.
And I'm not gonna lie, the first ever time Conor McGregor beat Dustin, bro, that wasn't even Dustin's at his prime. Like, that was Dustin just getting started, you know what I mean? Feeling everything out. And he just had time to improve, and throughout the years, now it's just like he can actually fight. Dustin had the opportunity to fight Conor McGregor again, and he demolished him, bro. He demolished him, but second time didn't go so well either. But let's keep going.
Taking basically no recovery time after getting knocked out, probably cold, although that is debated if he was out cold. We'd then have Conor going in again against Dustin and losing and snapping his leg. That was in July of 2021. And as of now, in 2024, Conor still has not fought. And obviously that recovery time is huge. And of course, there's been so many times athletes have never been able to come back the same. But Conor said he was good to fight basically a year and a half ago. And once you take out the Conor over exaggeration, we can just dumb it down to basically a year ago. And we had Conor and Chandler on Tough. And this has basically been the fight the whole time. And now Chandler is getting sat out. And this fight still has not been booked. And Dana just said that they're going to book the fight for fall, when Conor came out and said they're going to fight in June. And in between all this time, Conor has done interviews saying the UFC just does not want to fight him. Dana is coming out saying, we're going to fight Conor, we're going to fight Conor, of course we're going to fight Conor whenever we can. So this has caused a lot of issues, because Conor is now 35 and he will turn 36 in July, and they had the prime opportunity to book him for 300. Time of recording, 300 is still not announced. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's seemingly not Conor.
Now, it's announced. UFC 300 is announced, and Conor McGregor still isn't on there, bro. Like, everybody was expecting him to be on there, and he's still not on there, and it's disappointing. But it's a exactly a good card, bro. It's a stacked card, one of the best cards, bro. You know, it's UFC 300. Why not put him on there? I don't know, man. Like, Dana White is just holding him back, but it's tough.
Chandler, and Dana's had a history of not fighting fighters because Conor is such a huge leveraging piece for advertisers, for ESPN, and getting a Conor McGregor pay-per-view, and all of these theories as to why Dana hasn't fought Conor when he's clearly ready and there's clearly reason to. And a lot of people think that.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna end the video here. Let me know what you guys think, bro. Like, Dana White is holding Conor McGregor back, like I said a million times. You know what I mean? Conor McGregor is the golden fish of the UFC, and I don't think Dana White is afraid of, you know, Conor McGregor actually losing a fight again, you know, because he lost twice to Dustin Poirier, and after that it's just like, because he lost the first time, right? Okay, cool. They put him back right in there because I'm sure Conor McGregor is always that kind of guy. Like, okay, I want that rematch. So they gave him that rematch, and he disappointed Dana White. So it's just like Dana White can't afford to make Conor McGregor lose another fight, if you get what I mean. Like, he's just way too much leverage for the UFC, you know, and people want to see him win. People are watching him to see him win, you know. It's not like people hate him, you know. Conor McGregor is arguably the face of the UFC, so, you know, can't really blame Dana White. But at the end of the day, bro, if Conor McGregor wants to fight, why not let him fight? I don't know, man. But like I said, Dana White's afraid of losing Conor McGregor. But I'm sure they're gonna give him a fight to actually redeem himself, like an actual good fight, and not like Cowboy Cerrone or anything. Like, Michael Chandler is a good fight because Michael Chandler is a beast. You know what I mean? All his fights are wars, so that would be a good, insane fight for Conor McGregor to redeem himself as a legendary comeback, even. You know what I mean? But without further ado, gonna end the video here. Let me know what you guys think, and subscribe for more content, man. Peace out.